one of Spread's main goals has always been to create community for sex workers, make sex workers feel like they're not alone and there are other people out there like them.
I think that a very valuable thing that Spread can bring to the feminist debate is that we begin our investigation and our thinking about this issue in communication with people who are living that experience, that is actually, in this case, actually sex workers who are working in different environments. And Spread allows people who have no other way of communicating with sex workers, a way of picking up a magazine, reading the stories, and learning more in a safe way. And for feminists, that's absolutely invaluable. You can end your analysis that you don't particularly agree with sex work and some elements of it make you uncomfortable, but by reading the magazine you can understand why people will do it, what it means to them, what's good, what's bad.
You know, sex work is not the most empowering job at all times for all people, and it's not the most oppressive job at all times for all people. And it's something, and even in the same person's life and experience, it can range the spectrum.
Even if you're about prohibition, right, and you're saying, oh, this is an awful thing and people shouldn't do this, I mean, because people know that's where you're coming from, you don't even get to have that conversation with them. You don't even get to be in conversation or dialogue with them about those choices if you're coming from a prohibitionist or an abolitionist point of view.
What Spread is about is really trying to sort of make this information and the idea that sex workers are primarily workers and people who have intelligence, and people who have agency, and people who have the ability to talk about their work.
When we printed the first issue, we sent a bunch of copies to a feminist distro company, so we thought that maybe she'd be into it, but it turned out she was not into it at all. And she tore up the whole entire issue of Spread that we sent her and sent us back a letter. Dear prostitutes, were you smoking crack when you sent Spread to me, or did your syphilis get in the way of doing any research into my company? I'd rather turn tricks myself than get within 100 feet of this crap you call a magazine. A true feminist works to secure the dignity and safety of all women, while you only care about yourself and your liberation. Meanwhile, you're helping to destroy the country. I hope you go down in flames.
20 to 25% of our print run is donated for free to any direct service providers or individual sex workers with connections in dungeons, massage parlors, strip clubs, brothels around the world. And by donating those magazines at cost, different case managers are able to provide a magazine that some people might identify with.
Print can travel in a way that that websites can't. You can mail print, you can hand a magazine to a friend, you can find a magazine at an outreach location.
Because Spread needs to be something you can hold, that you can flip through, that you can feel a physical impact in community with. People write all the time about that actual feeling that they get when they find Spread and they open it up and they flip through the pages.
It doesn't require you know, the same sort of like privilege of internet access that that web sort of portals do. And so when you have a project like Spread that actually aims to like collect all of this information and put it together, you know, you're creating an archive.
I think it's really vital that it exists because it's sort of a history of this community.
So I can show you some copies of Horzine put together by Vic St. Blaise and the Pony Express, which I think was put out in 1990 and 1991 by Prostitutes of New York, and Danzine, which came out of Portland, Oregon, and the real mover and shaker behind that was Teresa Dulce. In some ways, Danzine was the precursor to Spread. So Danzine was really targeted toward dancers, but the organization actually compiled bad date lists and distributed them on the street, as well as safe works.
You asked me about Danzine before. It had a very different format. You look at Danzine, it doesn't look anything like the Australian magazines. It's got a totally different shape, totally different kind of graphic feel, and was very trailblazing. And I think that is how it should be, that there should be these other cultural forms similar to spread but not the same.